Caleb and the Pope, buzzworthy Bears, and Ben Johnson getting disrespected. Oh, we are ready. The cat's away. The mice will play. Carm Week Part 2, sort of. It starts right now. CHGO Bears. Coming at you live from the Xfinity Loft on Carm Week / month part 2. At least I'm calling it that. I'm sure that Greg Bragg's going to fight me on it. And Adam Jahns is here today.
It's all yours. It's all yours, buddy.
Really? I can.
The floor is yours. Jahns, if me and you can take off. I know you've been talking about heading over to Lost Marsh, see the land,
yes,
the
let's
land
do
over
it.
there.
Yeah.
We could leave right now.
No, you can't.
And he's welcome to just have the rest of the month.
No,
Just talk.
I mean, I need some level of support. Not much, but, some. And by the way, congratulations to Adam Hogue, who has made it to his favorite time of the year, 2.5 weeks away from this show. Never seen a guy.
So this is a yearly thing I'm learning. Huh?
Yes.
Yes, I'm new here. Okay.
He
just disappears.
He gets more and more miserable throughout the year to the point that he finally has to leave for 2.5 weeks. Then he comes back and he's happy for like 3 days, and then we grind through the year. That's the plan. He's always happy for Hogue and Jahns, by the way. What about? Are you guys doing Hogue and Jahns?
No.
Yeah. See.
Well, we usually take this time off, but
Yeah.
now I'm realizing he also disappears here.
Yeah. Well, listen. The guy needs a break. He works with me. He works with Braggs.
And now you're with us.
Yeah.
Aren't you lucky?
I'll get him in order. I got it. I got this.
Yeah, we got a red hot start here in the chat. I want to shout out my guy Q Harlan, who's come to a ton of our events, was recently at the draft party. Quentin, 48 trips around the sun, $10 to spend on himself. Happy birthday. On to year 49. Happy birthday to me. Let's kick this day in the backside. Salute and bear down, my friends. You're a tremendous supporter. Happy birthday, Q Harlan. You're the man. We appreciate you. And you're a baby, by the way. I would kill to be 48 going on to 49. That's a great year. Steven's looking at me like it's crazy, but 48 was a great year.
I think you only say that when you're how old?
52.
Okay.
August 11th will be 53.
What are we doing?
Great Chicago Bear 53s. We're going to family camp the next day. Probably drink a little heavily that day, an extra diet Dr.
I'm
Pepper.
Who wears
currently
53, not
40.
TJ Edwards?
I'm currently 40, and 40, it's been a great year. So I'm looking forward to my 40s. It's been a great
40s
year.
is a great decade.
Think how many Super Bowls is Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson going to win in my 40s?
Well, exactly right. Let's get into this Bears talk. By the way, this show brought to you by Adam Jahns with the topic of the day.
There's my contribution for karma.
You're putting me on the hot seat for tomorrow, John. Thanks a lot.
Braggs is yet to contribute to the month, but I'm sure he will.
I thought you wanted to hand out Offseason awards again. So
Yeah.
I
I was going to say, come on.
Well, I was
Karma Awards Part 5.
Yeah. I had some great ideas today, but this was better. The topic to the start of the show here is Bears players we should be talking about more, a.k.a. buzzworthy Bears. And so, Johnsy, since you're in the middle seat and since this is your topic, I think you should lead off to who has not been spoken about enough, that the iceberg, I see you, by the way, has been thinking about but hasn't talked about, that Motor Music Michael needs in, that Q Harlan on his birthday needs to hear about. That
I'll give you one player here off the top. Right guard, Jonah Jackson. We've talked about the center competition. We've talked about Braxton Jones coming back, feeling better, feeling healthy. We've talked about Joe Thuney winning the first ever lineman award in the NFL. Darnell Wright, the right tackle, is about to get a new deal. Like, where's the love for Jonah Jackson, who played at a Pro Bowl level?
Mr. Consistent. Just shows up at a press conference, just hangs out, no frills, no nothing, but yet there's just
one of the coolest guys to talk to in the locker room.
And right, just a good dude behind the scenes.
Well, and what did Ben Johnson say about the run game about a month ago or a few weeks ago, where he said we're more right-handed than we are left-handed? And a lot of that has to do with Darnell Wright, obviously, but when you have that consistency over there with right guard, and right tackle, where you're still trying to figure out from center over on the left side how to get things right. You have that trust in what you've built with those two guys. And, yeah, Jonah Jackson played with a lot of violence last year. And I think for everybody to get on the same page of what they were trying to do, whether it was run fits or pass blocking or wherever they were, communication across the line of scrimmage or with their quarterback, to me, Jonah Jackson absolutely has to make this list.
Darnell Wright had a lot of blocks that went viral, whether they're pancakes or it's slapping Brian Burns to the ground. But you know who else had a lot of blocks that was discussed behind the scenes at Alice Hall? Jonah Jackson. He was burying guys left and right. He was pulling, trapping, all of that stuff that you need to have to have a violent run game that Ben Johnson wants to have. Jonah Jackson provided at right guard.
And shout out Ben Johnson, by the way, who probably gets most of the credit for identifying Jonah. Didn't have a great year with the Rams, but hey, I know this guy well, and he's going to be solid in the locker room, and he can do the job. Let's go get him. Let's pay him what at the time looked like a significant amount of dough, but they've he earned himself an extension. You just said that we've talked about Garrett Bradbury too much. But somehow I don't think we've talked about him enough.
Fair,
because I just
Logan Jones probably changed the conversation a little bit.
Well, that was Logan has gotten a bunch of attention, which and should be because that's a super exciting piece from the draft and whatnot. But I was looking it up today. The Bears led the NFL last year in pass block win rate. Led the NFL, 74%, 73.6 to be exact. They were fifth in run block win rate last year, Gregory. I know this is a very interesting topic for you, 73.5. All right, Garrett Bradbury, where does he come in? Well, in Pro Football Focus gives him a 60.1 overall grade in 2025. Where does that place him among 40 qualified centers? Would you like to gander a guess at the number on that?
I'm going to say 33rd.
33rd?
20th.
Okay, so Jahns wins that battle. He's 30th, which I somehow did not realize he was, in the lower quadrant here. 1,070 snaps. His pass blocking grade, 63.1, which is 23rd of the 40. So he's worst at the run block, 56.2. That puts him 35th. Now, there's a bunch of good stats here, too. Didn't allow a sack, didn't have a penalty. That's in 642 pass blocking snaps, doing all the numbers here. So, that's impressive. But, Drew Dahlman, where did he rank last year in the Pro Football Focus centers? 7th. Where was Bradbury in Pro Football Focus's rankings? 30th, 29th. So I think it's interesting to look at how much this development that wasn't planned is going to impact the Bears.
But I also think it's fair to ask if Garrett Bradbury had been on the Bears last year,
right,
and Drew Dahlman had been on the Patriots, what would the rankings have looked like? Because I think a lot of this has to do with the scheme, right?
Yep.
And what Ben Johnson's dialing up.
Do you have the Patriots overall rankings on that? Because weren't they one of the worst pass blocking teams in the league? And I think some of that's having a young quarterback. And Drake May, as outstanding as he was last year, he held the ball for a long time. That's a thing. And I felt like they had a lot of attrition up front, just a lot of moving pieces, a lot of young players in New England.
Well, so let's see here. Well, pass blocking efficiency last year on a quick search here, they were 6th in the NFL.
Look like I'm wrong.
I probably need to do a deeper dive to answer that accurately, but I did do a little bit of a dive on Garrett Bradbury, not just last year but his entire career. 2024 season with the Vikings, led all centers with 38 pressures allowed and 4 sacks. That was not good, and that's when Minnesota moved on from him. And then last year in the playoffs specifically, where the Patriots now moving on, allowed 9 pressures, 2 sacks. Not great. So when it was all on the line, it wasn't perfect for Bradbury. Now, to your point, as it's looking at he's playing with 3 above average starters now. And Tooney, his college roommate, so
Jonah Jackson, who we just talked about, yeah,
plus Jonah and Darnell. So I just, I think it's just an interest. I right when they made the trade, I was like, Ben knows what he's doing. He saw him in Minnesota. We're good. And that might very well turn out to be the case, but I also think it's just to the point of this conversation. I think it is worthy a little more talk.
I think the cliche answer to this is I think we see what the floor is with Garrett Bradbury, but there probably is a ceiling in terms of what you're going to get out of him. Now, Logan Jones, that ceiling is still untapped. So I think that's why, to your point, why he's kind of made this list today of people that may not be as talked about as much, because I think a lot of people are already kind of skipping some steps ahead to Logan Jones taking that spot, and he very well may, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. All right, Gregory, you're up. You want to give us a summary?
Yeah, I mean, I think the easy answer, and this is just somebody that I genuinely want to know more about too, and that's Neville Gallimore. I mean, one of my favorite Bears over the last few years has been Andrew Billings, and he's also been one of their most important players on their defensive line. And I think, for as much attention in terms of pass rush and edge and how that defensive line certainly needs to get much better in order for this Bears team to ever win a Super Bowl, don't sell short the impact Andrew Billings has had over the last few years. And he was brought in as a guy similar to the way it feels like Neville Gallimore right now is being billed as this run stuffer. But Billings was so much more than that, in my opinion, and a guy that would get in the backfield and create pressure at times on passing downs. And also, last year, while last year might have been a fallback year for Andrew Billings and why the Bears maybe had moved on from him and he's seen better days, he had some crucial plays on fourth and gotta have it moments and caused fumbles. I believe in the Raiders game, he had a huge stuff on fourth down. I'm pretty sure he was in on the action at the Packers game when they fumbled there in overtime. So to me, Andrew Billings is a huge loss, and Neville Gallimore has to make this list of guys that are not being talked about as much and somebody that is potentially going to have a huge role on this team. Don't forget, this is a guy coming from the Colts that had that captain's patch on his jersey for Indianapolis. So I'm interested to see if he can fill that Andrew Billings kind of mold there.
And I think one reason we're not talking about him, because I can't remember taking note of him at all throughout OTOs or minicamp.
Wasn't there. Wasn't playing, which is not great. It's early, not a huge problem. But to your point though, Gregory, listen, I mean, Andrew Billings saved their ass a couple of years ago. He was just rock solid, and
in
then
a few games last year, and even in a down year. Yeah,
and then he got hurt. The weight was always enormous, but he was able to play with it. I mean, you were not going to move that dude. So
no,
I mean, what's that smile?
Yeah, no, he is enormous.
I mean, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
He got bigger, even though he said he didn't.
I mean, when he was on the ground,
the eye testament. Yeah. I mean, he got bigger.
Yeah, when he was on the ground last year, I was like, I'm not sure you're going to be able to get up. Like
He made Keith Tractor Trailer look like a Tonka truck.
Yeah.
Not big.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
just had to have a Keith Trailer reference in the
I was reading up on Neville Gallimore last week, and apparently he's Mr. Car. He's got like 12 different cars. Which I want Neville to call me and just let me either A, he's got some brilliant scheme that's making him tons of money that I want to invest in. I want to or I'll put my $10 in there, or I want to tell Neville to stop buying cars and just focus on the football here, because
you want to see him take a spin.
Well, sure, he can. That maybe
sounds like some content.
Well, that'd be interesting. Have him roll up to hell.
Our month.
Yep.
At Gallimore's.
He said he's buying like mostly Japanese cars, and he's like souping them up and like, doing a lot of work on them. So I thought he was buying brand new cars off the lot. Apparently that's not what he's doing.
Guy's a businessman.
Yeah.
I think Gallimore, just like in general, the Bears have signed a few defensive linemen this offseason that they drafted, Vandenberg. So they need at least one of these guys to stand out, not just in training camp, but in the regular season, like consistently enough.
Give me one light. Well, that's what Billings was, basically lightning in a bottle. They need one of these guys did. Pro Football Focus, by the way, 77th among defensive tackles last year, 31st at his position as a pass rusher. That's not great. So I don't know. Maybe the genius of Ryan Poles will hit here, potentially. He is from Canada, for the record as well.
Yeah.
Him and Theo can hang out.
He doesn't need to be anything more than what he's supposed to be and was signed as, and that's a rotational role player, somebody you can trust. They got to stop the run just as much as they got to get to the quarterback, and they struggle with both at times. So he's going to be important.
Let me give you another player. Linebacker Devin Bush. We've talked so much about Kobe Bryant, but Devin Bush, he got a 3-year, $30 million contract too. He's replacing Tremaine Edmonds.
It's a good name.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's not a small contract. He's replacing Tremaine Edmonds, who, like that year when that Tremaine Edmonds was signed, wasn't that the biggest free agent contract that Ryan Poles handed out that year?
That's right. That is right. Yeah.
So like this is a big deal. But I get why Kobe Bryant got more buzz. I got why Kobe Bryant maybe got more praise from Ben Johnson. But at the same time, don't you want your linebacker for the Chicago Bears to get some of that too?
I think that's a good underline, and I was surprised that they spent the money on Devin Bush. I thought once they let Tremaine go that they were just not going to prioritize the position, but they did in a fairly significant way. The only time that we've talked about Devin Bush, at least that I've talked about Devin Bush this offseason, when I noticed that he's got a large ass. That was I was like, how is this guy this fast?
Yeah.
That was literally the only. That's all we've talked about. Like nobody's. Then I brought him up for the record. I mean, it was like, oh my god, this dude can. I
went back and looked at my notes. The only time I took note of Devin Bush was how weird it was to see his number 12 at linebacker, and then seeing number 12 getting burnt in coverage by DeAndre Swift on a wheel route out of the backfield.
That's another guy, by the way, that not many people are talking about in DeAndre Swift as far as, contract year. Let's see what you can do. He's, can you?
I mean, this has been one of the more quiet Bears off seasons in quite some time, and that includes, the quarterback making the Madden cover, which if you'd have told me that 20 years ago, I'd have never believed you. So, but it really has been, and I hope that is the new norm here in Chicago is boring off seasons. We haven't had very many of those in the last 5 years, probably longer. And so I think this is uncharted territory for us as fans and media to go through an offseason where there really isn't too much. No, will
you please knock on some wood because there's about a month left and we don't need any.
Well, John, since you joined,
stores.
I've said this since the day you joined CHGO about a year ago at this time, and all you've done since you've shown up is got us to the playoffs and over 100,000 subscribers here, just nothing but winning. Me and you got a trophy. Carm didn't.
It's true. I didn't. I most definitely did not.
All my dreams coming true. No, I'm kidding. My final choice, it was kind of a hard reach. I saw a guy in the chat, Jack, might have had a better answer than me. I was kind of throwing out there Sam Roush. I think he might be somebody that goes under the radar for years because he's playing in the same room as Colston Loveland. And who knows how long. I know every year, last year and now this season, everybody's already ready to push Cole Kmet out the door because of the abundance of tight end talent you have in that room. At the same time, Cole's still here, and, hopefully he continues to be. That being said, I think Sam Roush is going to fly under the radar this season. Go into December, January, maybe he starts to make an impact in the same way Colston did a year into it. But as long as Colston Loveland's on this team, you're going to fly under the radar if you're a tight end in that room.
Here's a bold prediction for this year. I think there's like a Sam Roush game where he may have like 3 catches, but 2 of those are like 5-yard touchdowns.
Yeah. And
he gives a nice celebration, and one may be a game-winning touchdown. I think Ben Johnson's going to have a plan for him. Yes, Colston Loveland's going to be a star. Cole Kmet deserves to go nowhere. I think he is a stalwart that deserves to be here. But at the same time, there's talent in Sam Roush. Caleb Williams said it himself on a podcast. Like, he's got 3 great tight ends. And I think we're going to have a game, maybe 2, where we're talking a lot about a lot about him because of what he's doing on the field.
It's kind of reminded me a little bit of like maybe that Eagles tight end room a few years ago when it felt like they had a lot of different options and you don't know who you can cover at any given week.
I like Sam Roush, and he was noticeable in OTAs. Can catch the ball. He's certainly built for the part.
Yeah.
He's incredibly handsome as well. We have mentioned that. The Sam Rauscher. I'm driving Steven nuts today. I've talked ass, good looking.
Handsome Sam Roush.
And what was the other one?
Devin Bush's butt. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the guy.
This is only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, well, we're starting a great month here. The dude, if he plays well, let's put it that way. If he plays well, he's going to be able to make himself some money off the field. Which, by the way, thinking about that, Cole Kmet's GQ too, and Colston Levin's like the hottest young guy going here. And everybody loves him too. That's a great looking tight end room. We got some good looking tight ends in this town.
But I mentioned Jack in the chat that might have had a better answer than me. I got you. Just blow through it. Jack had put up Jahdae Walker. I'm a big Jahdae Walker fan. I was last year at this time. I thought he obviously ended the season with a lot of,
to the point of the purpose of this segment, Xavier Thomas and Khalif Raymond have been discussed more on this show. Hogan Johns, I think other shows, they've been featured more in press conferences.
But of those three, it's Jahdae Walker that's following the crew around.
Yeah.
Caleb and all the guys. I haven't not trying to slight those guys. They just got here, but I'm just saying, like, you can see Jahdae Walker attaches his hip to the right people.
Right.
Well, right now, if you look at ESPN did a whole depth chart thing today analyzing the teams, and the Bears, I think, play 17th. We can talk about that later in the week. I don't want to go huge dive right now. But they were listing the third wide receiver. Who do you think they have as the Bears' third wide receiver?
Khalif Raymond.
Khalif Raymond is correct. But, that's wide open, is it not?
Well, it's just – I think there's more – I think there's more nuance to this. It's just because how Ben Johnson and how he utilizes these players. He wants different types of players, and Khalif Raymond is a different type of receiver than Rome Odunze and Luther Burden. The same thing applies to Xavier Thomas. Now, Jahdae Walker, because of his size, because of his speed, maybe the best backup option behind Rome and Luther Burden.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen to how Ben Johnson talked about Khalif Raymond, where he said he likes that he's showing these guys how they're supposed to finish their routes. Right, he said that about a month ago, and talking about how they go about their business and practice. So to me, I think the trust factor is too high with Ben Johnson with Khalif Raymond, and that's why you can say it's wide open. Sure, I mean Jahdae Walker has every right to take that if he has that ability to, but Khalif's the leader in the clubhouse because Ben knows what he's going to get out of him, and he knows the kind of effort he's going to put into every route, even when he's not getting the ball. And we talk so much about no block, no rock, and all that stuff. How do you do without the football last year?
So the 5 receivers on the team, you got Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Xavier Thomas, draft pick, Khalif Raymond just signed, Jahdae Walker, that's 5.
Yep.
Who's their 6? Because most teams, and I can see Ben Johnson doing this, keeping 6 receivers.
It's the guy with the 99 catches. Scotty Miller's had an unbelievable offseason. That's one name in there. But my understanding is, that the receivers had an unbelievable OTA. It just feels like there's options plenty here, and it's that competition between 3rd and 6th. However, that's going to slide out. It's going to be fierce come training camp. Because clearly Khalif Raymond, considering that Ben brought him here, what they paid him, and looking at the room, he is the significant favorite for that spot. But he's also kind of, the perfect scenario last year that we talked about on the offensive line would be Ozzie Trapillo stepping up and winning it, and having that payoff that you made the right pick, and he can be your left tackle for 10 years or 5 years, whatever. What would be perfect for the Bears that they're in the receiver room is that Jahdae Walker goes from not just the guy that made the unbelievable catch in the playoffs to the guy that actually can hold down that role.
Yeah.
That would be an unbelievable development for Ryan Poles and the Bears, which I wouldn't completely rule out. He'll have a chance at it for sure. Let's do this. Let's take our first little quick time.
We don't take timeouts here, Carm.
Carm, you idiot. That's your thing. Stick with that. We're coming back. Caleb and the Pope is amazing. There's a lot of Caleb conversation, and Ben Johnson getting some disrespect out there. Serotonin, good to see you live. But first,
as a proud Xfinity customer at the Braggs residence, I want to tell you all that you have the chance to have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi, but most importantly, you can keep that reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 whole years. That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. That's all your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. Anybody in the house trying to stream something, not a problem. Xfinity is where you want it, and that's where you're going to have it, because here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment included. So, Mark Carman, lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Shout out to Xfinity. Honestly, has helped me through this summer with all the different streaming we've been doing, from shows to games, the World Cup. Xfinity's had my back.
They've been incredible. You're incredible. Shout out to our friends at Game Time Tickets. Yo, you know it's World Cup time, and maybe you're thinking about making the jaunt out to Boston for a big-time look. Game Time is going to be the lifesaver you're looking for. It gives the advantage back to the fans with the tickets to all the matchups that you care about. Ticket price drops in real time. You can get alerts when seats open up. That's a great way to do it.
It really is the best secondary ticket market app you can find.
Yep, and I love, well, one of the reasons it is because of their zone deals. You save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. You just want to be in the door. You don't care if you're in row 2, row 8. It's all good. Take the guesswork out of buying soccer tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHGO, $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. All right, let's move on to the quarterback who, I mean, just more iconic by the day here. July 4th, what's going on? What pops up? It's Caleb and Pope Leo the 14th. Autographed jersey to the Pope. By the way, he's the first American-born Pope, if anybody forgot that. Jersey's coming from Caleb's charity, Williams Caleb's Cares. It's the foundation. Presented to the Pope by Brian Birch, the U.S. ambassador to the Holy See, on July 4th. These are things that I don't think I've ever talked about a Bears quarterback doing. White jersey, orange numbers, which now everyone's wondering if this is going to be the rivalry jersey.
Is it?
I don't know.
You know. I know you know.
I do not know. I know that a lot of people
I am not into these types. I know
a lot of people are speculating it. Yeah, it's like a white jersey with orange letters and numbers. I wouldn't be a fan I guess I'd have to see the full look. I've wanted white on white for 15, 20 years now, since Devin Hester brought 2 back on Monday Night Football in the white on whites. I don't know, I've long heard that George isn't a big fan of the white on whites. I can't confirm that verbatim, but I've heard that. So that's always frustrating.
Be good info.
Yeah,
it might be good info.
Yeah, and so the color rush, is this what it's going to be? We'll see. I know a lot of people want the polar bear uniforms or whatever you want to call them. But yes, I mean, the Bears franchise quarterback on the Madden cover giving his jersey to the Pope, who's a big Bears fan, is not a sentence I ever thought I would say in my life.
Right? For the YouTube audience, by the way, you see it right there, the white jersey, the lettering, the outline. The Pope's thrilled.
Do we know what he wrote on there?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, we got that for you too. Go, you got it, Johnsy?
I'll send it. Yes.
I can read it for you. Williams described the number 18 with AMDG, which stands for, if I say this wrong, don't strike me down, Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, which is a Latin phrase that translates to for the greater glory of God.
Wow.
You like that there, Braggs?
It's deep.
That's Pope Caleb research to the moon here.
In your slacks.
The point here is that God's on the Bears side and they're going to win the Super Bowl, right? That's the overall.
I was
point.
trying to do a little research. So he's gotten White Sox gear. He's gotten Cubs gear. Yep. I don't think he likes the Cubs gear because he's a Southsider.
He got a Bulls number 14 jersey. Chuck Swirsky gave that to him in November.
So is all he like? Are the Blackhawks the only team here left out?
Apparently Mario and Jay and Greg are slacking. They should have gotten this done. I don't know what those guys are doing over there.
is he going to come to Chicago, like at some point?
The Pope?
Yeah.
I would. I mean, he's got to, right?
Throw out what do you want to do? Throw it like a first
like
pitch?
a Pope parade.
Yeah,
throw out a first pitch.
Pope parade.
Yeah.
In the Pope mobile.
Yeah. He goes to the Wiener Circle.
I mean,
first pitch.
the whole tour.
I'm not saying that
on.
it guarantees that the Bears are going to win the Super Bowl or that everything's going to be going great for Caleb, but I don't think it's a bad thing that he's aligned with the Pope. I think that's probably, it's like cover,
It's absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's get some spirituality going on here. Caleb and the Almighty.
Let's
well
see.
done.
Hold on. Has he gotten Blackhawks here? Hold on.
I mean,
let me just, this of course took me into a dive of Caleb over the weekend.
I agree with somebody in the chat that said they look like the orange and white variation, like that kind of looks a little bit like the Tampa Bay creamsicles a little bit.
Well, and Nico is saying that you could have bought those jerseys last year, so maybe it won't be the rivalry game jersey this year.
Who knows?
That's over my pay grade here to really know what's going to happen with jerseys. But, I was just reading what people were saying about Caleb this weekend. Pro Football Focus, where do you think they ranked Caleb amongst quarterbacks?
Oh, I've not seen this, so I'm gonna. My guess would be 14th.
I was gonna say 12th.
You two are like, you guys are fun to hang out with.
We were way off on them.
Josh Allen 1, Joe Burrow 2, Lamar 3, Mahomes 4, Stafford 5, Love 6. Don't fight me. I'm just reading this. Justin Herbert 7, Dak Prescott 8, Drake May 9, Brock Purdy 10, Trevor Lawrence 11, Jaden Daniels 12, and then Caleb 13th.
Oh, look at this.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us.
I'll read what they wrote. Williams made the sophomore leap many hoped for after the Bears hired Ben Johnson as head coach. Iceman
That's right.
led Chicago to its first divisional round.
George Gervin did? Wow.
Iceman led to Chicago to its first divisional round appearance in 15 years and recorded 37 big-time throws. That's second among NFL quarterbacks behind league MVP Matthew Stafford. The cover athlete for Madden NFL 27 is still a bit of a gunslinger as his negatively graded throw rate ranked 38th at the position, which we've talked about ad nauseum. Even so, Williams is trending in the right direction and appears well on his way to living up to the immense expectations that came with being the number one overall pick in the 2024.
And who's 14th?
Sam Darnold.
Okay. Oh, he had a good year last
Darnold,
year.
14, Hurts, 15, Goff, 16. We've had that conversation. C.J. Stroud, 17, Baker, Nix, Bryce Young, Kyler Murray, Rodgers, Jones, Tyler Shuck, Jackson Dart, who just jumped off a boat and threw an incredible spiral to a jet ski, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Tua, Cam Ward, Malik Willis, Jacoby Brissett, Deshaun Watson, and unmentioned Tyson Bagent. That'll be next year. All right.
Sorry, Chim. Jared Goff.
Well, it is interesting, to Chim's point, I do agree with him. I think the Goff disrespect is a little aggressive here. Brock Purdy did not have a great year last year. He was hurt. Trevor had neither did Jaden Daniels.
Is this more of a projection for 2026?
I guess.
Okay.
The headline was PFF's quarterback ranks all 32 starters ahead of the 2026 NFL season.
Well, probably beating. Isn't this the time of year that Mike Saniel comes out with his QB tiers?
It is that time of year.
I mean, we talked about it so much too with Caleb last year, and this is something I've repeated time and again, the untapped potential. But it's interesting when you put him 13th on that list and all 12 ahead of him, Jordan Love included, are all very, very good quarterbacks in this league. And I think everyone understands, even putting him at 13, where he needs to get better, but why he's put there. And it's one, his incredible gunslinger talent, 37 big-time throws, and I'm sure the majority of them are just, that's all Caleb kind of thing. But then a large majority of it, too, is what we talked about last week when we were, talking about players you can trust. We had this list, and Caleb kept making it. And one of the reasons was because when Ben Johnson is your play caller, if you've got any kind of talent, he's going to find it. And Caleb's got talent in droves. So that's where it's when you talk about for the last few years, dating back 3 years ago, Hogue would talk about the floor versus the ceiling, and so we've found our baseline with Caleb Williams. And so at 13th, I think last year is the baseline. And now you have a play caller and a quarterback as talented as they are as a duo. Now, if they are to get better at the things that held them back last year, you're talking about top 5 in the league.
I think 13th is a very fair ranking. Carm, how many of those quarterbacks on that list? Where was Drake May? Did you say Drake May's name? You did not, right?
He had him at 9th or 10th.
Okay.
May, let me go back and make sure that Greg is right that I said he had 9th.
I saw only 2 really young quarterbacks there, so 2 quarterbacks coming out of their second seasons. It's a fair ranking. Ben Johnson himself will lay out a whole list of areas that Caleb Williams can improve in. He will. One of them being completion percentage. We can argue about this so we're all sick in the head a little bit, and I think we will, but he needs to get better at a lot of different things. Caleb Williams would tell you that. 13th sounds good.
I mean, I think most Bears fans probably puke when they see Trevor Lawrence is ahead of him. And it's interesting, too, because like last year, for the better part of like the first half of the season, even longer, he was not great. But then all of a sudden at the end of the year, he caught fire. And Liam Cohen, who we duvaled and made fun of and a bunch on this show, dude had a good year.
Yep.
I mean, they really did. So, and I think Trevor, is – if you went back to a year ago, like the sort of the concern with Caleb was that he would sort of become Trevor, that he would be just good enough that you would pay him, but he wouldn't be elite. That was sort of the concern after the rookie season. Like, you're not going to be able to punt on him, but is he actually really going to be the guy? You don't hear that conversation right now. I mean, again, huge year, but I think the ranking is fair just going into the season. But there's a lot of people, like if you were just drafting quarterbacks right now for the future, he's going in the top 5. You would
just
think.
To have some perspective, guys, we're not talking about Justin Fields being the 13th best quarterback in the league. We're not talking about Mitch Trubisky being the 13th best quarterback in the league. Even like when Jay Cutler was at his best, he was a middle of the pack quarterback.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
was.
That's right.
Now we're talking about a quarterback in Caleb Williams entering his 3rd season, his 2nd with his new head coach, flirting with the top 10 in terms of quarterbacks in the league. That is something so amazing for the Bears.
Yep.
That it changes perspective for the entire conversation, really.
So, and then he's always tied to Ben, right? You mentioned this, and so they also had their coaching rankings going in top 10. Where's Ben Johnson?
I'm guessing there's a slight here, so.
Yeah. Not on the list. Top 10 coaches, PFF. Sean McVay 1, Andy Reid 2.
That is insane.
Andy Reid 2, Kyle Shanahan 3, Mike McDonald, Super Bowl champion Seahawks 4, Dan Campbell, Chim, number 5, Matt LaFleur, Packers 6, DeMeco Ryans, Texans 7, Sean Payton, the Broncos 8, Vrabel 9, and then Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers 10. What I actually found even more interesting than that is, like, okay, you want to talk about history and whatnot. Ben's got, he's had a phenomenal first year, but hasn't proved it yet. Whatever. Okay, fine. I get it. But the gambling markets right now for Coach of the Year this year, the favorite to win Coach of the Year is John Harbaugh with the Giants at plus 600, so 6-1. 9-1. Jesse Minter, the Baltimore Ravens, 10-1. Robert Saleh, the Tennessee Titans, 12-1. Kellen Moore, New Orleans Saints. Joe Brady, who might be my favorite because he's got a great Bills team and you're coaching Josh Allen, and that's a nice story, is 14-1. Todd Monken, the Browns, 14-1. Mike McCarthy, the Steelers, 16-1. Brian Schottenheimer, Dallas, 18-1. Kevin Stefanski, the Falcons, 19-1. And then at 20-1, Ben Johnson in a group with Clint Kubiak of the Raiders, Jim Harbaugh of the Chargers, Aaron Glenn of the Jets.
Aaron Glenn of the Jets. So,
Aaron Glenn, the Steven's got it up there for me from DraftKings. The odds there.
All right, so I view these as completely separate conversations, though.
Oh,
there's some new coaches, there's some first-time coaches on that list with better odds because you're looking for the next miracle to happen. Who's going to turn around their team? That usually delivers you Coach of the Year, unless you're Sean McVay and you just repeat your success over and over and over again. And there's not another story like last year where you had Mike Vrabel, and you had Liam Cohen, and you had Ben Johnson, and you had Jim Hart. Like, you had all these turnaround stories happening around the league. So I think that hurts Ben's chances last year. But, like, I think we could quibble a little bit more about the previous list about him not being included. But at the same time, like, go do it again. I can understand why you don't want to include him in that list because all those other coaches have had more success than he has consistently.
But that's where it's like, okay, well, what – because just a minute ago we were like, is this about projecting of how they'll do next year, or is it how they did last year, or is this the totality of their career? If that's the case, I might not have as much of a fight on it, right? But, Dan Campbell, that's fine.
It's not fine. I don't think it's fine.
It's not fine because, to me,
I think it's a little unfair.
It is because what I'd ask you, Jahns, having been up close to this, the Bears do not make the playoffs without Ben Johnson.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yes.
The Lions, I know they had a lot of things going on last year, and I'm a big Dan Campbell fan, advocate. He's my type of coach. I like Dan Campbell.
I love Dan
That
Campbell.
being said, you can't put him on a list ahead of Ben Johnson when Ben Johnson coached his ass off to get the Bears to the playoffs last year.
See, I think that list is about consistency. That's it. Like, I would argue that Ben Johnson's a better play caller than some of those guys on that list. LaFleur. I mean, the argument there, he's made the playoffs a lot, but he's never made it more than the seventh seed without Aaron Rodgers, right? So that's the thing. But he's still in the playoffs.
Ben beat him twice. I don't care how.
Yeah, I feel weird defending the other side of this argument, but I feel like they compiled that list just based off consistency. And Ben's only had 1 year in charge.
He's 76-40. They've gone to the playoffs nearly every year. Give the dude his credit. Also. Like when I look at if you're really doing a fair ranking going into this year, well, Dan Campbell lost Ben Johnson. That offense wasn't the same. They had to make a coordinator change in the middle of the year.
But head-to-head, the Lions bested the Bears.
That's true, but the Bears had a better year. Right?
I just don't. I don't. You want to have Dan Campbell in the top 10? Ben has to be in that top 10 after last year. He was one of the best coaches in football.
I mean, the rounding out that top 10 one more time is D'Amico Ryans. Sean Payton deserves it all day. Denver had a phenomenal year. The quarterback doesn't get hurt. They're probably in the Super Bowl. Like
a few of those coaches, I have no problem with talking to the mic.
Talking to the mic, Carm.
What was that? You okay?
No, I'm not.
Carm month.
Carm month. I can't make any mistakes. Right. So that's one. Vrabel, and I mean, I'm not gonna fight you on Jim Harbaugh being in the top 10. Like that's. Would I rather have Ben than Jim Harbaugh? Yeah, I would.
So who are you fighting? So you're fighting over.
The
ones you would fight over most are Jim Harbaugh and Dan Campbell.
I don't listen. Recency bias matters here. Like, he's going up against Campbell. He's going up against LaFleur. He put it on LaFleur last year.
Yeah, but he didn't put it up on Campbell. Dan Campbell beat him twice.
No, but it was a mess in Detroit. I don't know. If you put out to 30 NFL general managers, who would you rather have as your head coach?
Now, that's a different poll.
It is.
It's like the QB tiers that'll come out later.
But it's sort of. Is it? I mean, it's like, who would you rather have? I mean, like, it's not like they're still like both those guys, assuming they eat a moderate diet here and don't drink themselves, they could coach for 20 years.
Yeah.
So who would you rather have? Who's a better coach right now, Dan Campbell or Ben Johnson? Is that close? I don't think it's particularly. No. I love Dan Campbell.
That's a different conversation. Okay.
I mean, if you
I think they're both great coaches in completely different ways.
First of all, Dan Campbell's awesome. He's a huge reason why Ben is here. Like he paved the way for that. Like and his story of
Ben wins through math.
he also, I mean,
Dan wins through like that feel and emotion, and it's
but Ben has some of that too.
I'm not saying Dan
too.
can't
Yeah,
strategize.
yeah.
I'm just saying he's got such a great feel for his team. You see that in the Hard Knock stuff. Ben is going to strategize his way to a Super Bowl.
I mean, Dan slugged the Lions from the bottom, I'm going to bite your ankles, to being on the verge of winning a Super Bowl. And then Dan Campbelled himself, and now they're going the other way.
If I had to quickly merge these two lists together to like have a synopsis, I think odds makers, I think some of the people around the league want to see what Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams do in year 2. And I think that's more than fair. You could doubt the Bears as long as you want. It's happened before. We've seen, flash in the pan, Matt Nagy come and go. It could happen, but I have more confidence in what Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson can become.
All right, I got a very important question for you that I want you to answer in a second. But first, Steve.
Our friends over at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your baseball season, and Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. Shout out to our good friends over at Sunnyside. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, easy online ordering, in-store pickup. They have spots all over Illinois, south of Champaign, right down the street from Wrigley. They got it all. They got the Stash Pass this summer, Sunnyside's summer rewards program that lets you earn rewards simply by visiting and making qualifying purchases. Every visit earns a stamp, bringing you closer to your next reward. And after every 4 visits, you'll unlock a reward on your 5th trip and advance to the next tier. How about that? So enter that promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Head to their website for only the best under the sun, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Sunnyside Dispensary, only the best under the sun, and only for 21 or older or Illinois medical card holders.
And I'd like to give a shout out to our friends at Gold Belly. If you are looking for the good stuff, that's right. Like the Carm Barbecue 4th of July, Snow Barbecue.
Wow.
Got the brisket. It was unbelievable. And let me tell you something. I don't know anything that I'm doing, but I was able to throw that thing in the oven and make it look like I was like the chef of all chefs. But hey, that was coming out from Texas. But if you want to send, if you're someone that you want to send some Chicago gifts to, they've got Lou Malnati's and Gino's East and Al's Beef, all the good stuff. Stan's Donuts, Giordano's, Gibson's, the Duck Inn. You want to go to this website, and it's once you get there, you're just not going to want to leave because there's so many great options, and you're going to buy something, and you're going to be happy you did. So if you're looking for the perfect gift, you want to impress your friends and family, epic meal, go to goldbelly.com. 20% off your first order. That's huge with the promo code CHGO. That's goldbelly.com. Use that code CHGO. 20% off your first order. Okay, so here's the big question as we kick off Carm 2.5 weeks with whoever shows up. Bragg's just telling, he's like, there's like a lot of producer things next week. I'm not really sure what's going to go on. I might be here. I might not be here. Jahns is offering himself up literally every day because he's a great teammate.
Every day.
Yeah. Carmi V will be here on Thursday. We're gonna have a ton of guests. So, and my guy Don Klipowitz is gonna be on the show, which will be the best segment of the 2.5 weeks. With all due respect to you guys and me, because even though I'm on that segment.
When are we playing the interview with your gym teacher?
That's Don Klipowitz.
Oh, okay.
It's the greatest man in the history of the planet who paved the way for me to be here today. Will be at some point.
Oh, so he's to blame.
That's right.
Can that be the headline of our show one day?
He's to blame.
Carm's clip.
Exclusive. Big letters. Exclusive. Carm catches up with Don Clipwood.
Clip.
Coach Clip.
Don't dog Clip. Clip's the man.
The thumbnail will just say the making of Carm.
That's good. And we could put a picture of Clip up there, and we could talk about after school sports and all the things. All right, listen. Caleb's not in the. Caleb's is 13th on this list. Ben Johnson is, he's right there with Aaron Glenn in Coach of the Year voting or gambling with good old DraftKings. And no one's talking. The great running backs out there. No one's mentioning DeAndre Swift. The Bears Bears have trouble and can't get to the quarterback. They didn't address it. If you're Ben Johnson, or can there be some level of energy around the Bears going into the year. Hey, man, no one believes in us. We're underdogs. The favorite in the division right now is, look at the list. The Detroit Lions are expected to win the most games, followed by the Packers. We're third, just barely ahead of the sad-ass Vikings. Nobody thinks that what we did last year is real. Caleb, you got to prove it more. Apparently, me, Ben, I got to prove it more. Defensive line, you could almost make sort of an underdog. Nobody believes. They thought we were a fluke last year. We won a miracle. We had miracle wins left and right. No one thinks we're good enough. Like, could that be sort of a rallying cry for the Bears? That's my question.
Yes, 100%. I think you're already seeing signs of that within the messaging, the public messaging from Ben Johnson to Caleb Williams about how he has to get better. How, yes, last year clearly wasn't good enough despite all the heroics and all the theatrics. It wasn't good enough in Ben Johnson's opinion. Instead, you know what, Caleb? We're going to track every single pass that you throw in training camp. Good and bad, we're going to track it and tell you how you can be better. So, yes, I think they could be part of the messaging. It could be part of the behind-the-scenes stuff. I think Antoine Randall L. would fully get on that board as the assistant head coach. But I think you're seeing signs of it already publicly.
Roma Dunze, nobody believes in you. You had 4 good games, then you got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like I agree with you that that's definitely part of the messaging, but I also think it comes from a different level of, like, I don't think he views himself as the underdog or the team that, nobody believes in. I think he looks at it like, we're the champs, but my standard isn't even like it. This conversation takes me back to the 49ers game, which was like one of the most exciting Bears games of a loss I had ever seen, where you see Caleb Williams go toe-to-toe in a shootout with Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan versus Ben Johnson. And they get to the end of the game, and both teams post a 40 burger. And I'm pissed off about the defense. Can't get one stop here or there to win this game. And after the game, Ben Johnson says the offense didn't do their job in the first half. For me, that's like, are you kidding me? They just put up 40-plus points.
Right.
But that Ben Johnson's messaging the day he walked in Hallis Hall was, we're going to dominate teams. So, yeah, they won games last year, but they didn't dominate very many of those games. So I just think he looks at it from a standpoint of, yeah, that was good, but I have a much higher standard of great. We played that clip of the player he coached in Miami that said, I'm going to the Hall. Ben told him, I'm going to the Hall of Fame one day. So I just think he's not looking at it like I'm a bottom feeder looking to prove everybody wrong. He's looking at it like, yeah, I already kicked your ass, and that wasn't even half of what I got. I was throwing 50%.
Yeah, like he doesn't view himself as an underdog, but as a super dog with like a lot to prove.
Yeah,
something like that. Like, I don't think anything will be good enough for Ben Johnson until he wins the Super Bowl.
100%.
And that's going to be his mantra until it actually happens. And I find that so refreshing. Like, because I hate always comparing this to the Nagy era, but there's so many similarities. Young quarterback, young offensive-minded coach that we could like draw from. Like, the Bears thought they kind of arrived. They didn't arrive. They didn't win anything. Ben Johnson doesn't believe the Bears have arrived. He believes in growth and improvement. And until they win the Super Bowl, he's not going to stop that messaging.
He literally could go around the entire locker room. You're a guy. Hey, Kyle Monangai, you were a 7th-round pick, man. NFL didn't believe in you. Hey, Luther Burden, you thought you were going in the first round, right? You thought you'd be top 10. You went number 39. Yeah. You scratched the surface last year, but what have you done? Hey, Garrett Bradbury, you've been now kicked around. Last year, you took a team to play, and the Patriots kicked you out the door for a 5th-round pick. They were like Montez Sweat. What have you done? Johnny 10-sack. Like, when are you gonna have a breakout year? Hey, Austin Booker, can you you could, if you wanted to play it that way. I don't, I know I assume he's building up all his guys behind the scenes, but like you could put a chip on everyone's.
And that's where for me, and I heard you guys talking about this last week, and so I guess I'm going to take my time sharpening my knives for what Ben Johnson's plan is for this summer. But when we talked about the 2 joint practices, one in Nashville, one in Cincinnati, I know we were talking a little bit about that last week from a travel perspective, but how they're going to approach these preseason games, is it going to be less than last year, and how they're going to approach training camp. He's already kind of bracing them for impact of the same kind of same expectation when he joked, I didn't even think last year was hard when the players were sitting here saying, that's the hardest I've ever
Literally
been.
tackling in 7-on-7, Jules. I have never seen that
Montez
before.
Sweat keeps saying, I've never had a harder training camp. That's great. But I don't want it to be pulled back. I don't want reps in the preseason to be pulled back because when you talk about comparing it to the Nagy era, from that first training camp in preseason to that second year, he didn't play his starters at all. And I don't think Ben's going to go that far with it, but they need to play in the preseason. And I loved what Ben Johnson did in the preseason last year when they had a couple crappy practices. He had them playing. Then he had them practicing hard in the preseason games. He had Tyson Bagent throwing a game-winning touchdown at the end of the fourth quarter of a game to finish a game strong. That, to me, those things are so important to build positive momentum going into a season. Granted, the Bears started 0-2, so what am I talking about? All that's contradiction. But at the same time, that's how I prefer my August to go.
You know what I appreciate most about Ben Johnson is, like, even when he's talking to us, the media, he doesn't mince words. So many times we've heard from different coaches, oh, it was a good day of practice. Ben Johnson will tell you if it's a bad day of practice. He'll tell you if he hated that practice. You could probably tell by his body language if he liked that practice or not. We're not getting BS from Ben Johnson. I don't think he coaches that way either. If it's a bad practice, everybody's going to know about it, not just as players, not just as coaches, but publicly. We had a bad practice. And those are the standards that I think have been missing here for a very, very long time. There's a confidence in it.
Well, and what I like, too, is last year, correct me if I'm wrong, but they had a certain plan they were going to go with going into, I believe, the second preseason game, and then the practices the week prior didn't go the way they wanted, so he readjusted. And so, like, for me, that's important for me to see in the head coach here coming up this summer. You might have a certain plan, but if practices aren't going the way you want them to,
change it.
Then you need to readjust to have your team ready. Ben showed he could do that last year, so I have no doubt he's going to do that this year.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the
Put him on that list, top 10.
That's in the Ben Johnson skill set. Also, like with Ben, what you're talking about, I'll go at my team. But if you guys come at it, like last year at 0-2, are you worried the season's going to spiral out of control? I think I asked that question.
Which reporter is that? Is you? Okay.
That was me.
Do you think that you're going down the toilet?
No. We're gearing up for Dallas, and we're going to get our first win this week. Carm, Leventhal, whoever. I forget who asked
Well, I
the question.
appreciate that Ben Johnson went into the early bye week, and he would tell us, our run game isn't working. I'm going to spend this time fixing our run game. And what did the run game become after that? A monster.
Well, that was a great learning last year. Like, Ben's favorite thing is the run game. He loves
to coach.
He loves coaching up.
We got a super chat in here, Steven. I know we had one from the Iceberg here. $5 super chat from the Iceberg. Welcome to the month of Carm. This week is featuring, that other guy. What's his name? Oh, well, guess it really doesn't matter. Carm month begins.
Thank you.
Shots fired at Jahns.
Iceberg.
That's funny.
You like that?
That's funny.
That's cold, Iceberg.
Good job dodging that one, Brycey. Thank you, Iceberg. You're the man. I have two things on the way out here. I know it's a very busy show today, so we might hit a little bit of overtime coming up here, Steven.
He just can't do it.
Just to drop.
Just spit it out. You got 2 minutes. Jeez.
Okay, well, all right, two things. One, Gold Belly, one of our advertisers today, we had a July 4th extravaganza. The brisket was unbelievable from the Gold Belly. So I know I'm I can scramble an egg, but I ain't making no brisket. But this was like, take it out of the defrosting thing, put it in the pan for 2 hours. It was unbelievable.
Really good?
Yeah, shout out. Also, shout out to Crystal, who is being an amazing mom, sending her daughter Rachel to camp for 2 weeks, and she's been in the chat today crying that it's a hard day because she's sending her off to overnight camp for the first 2 weeks, and I've been yelling at her. She'll be back in 5 minutes. It's 2 weeks of camp. Don't worry about it. Go out and have a good time. But that's a great mom. Phenomenal job, my niece Rachel out there. Have a great time at camp. I'm sure you're watching on the way on the bus ride to down to wherever you're going.
I'll be crying when we send Carm to camp.
You'll be in tears of joy. August 12th to the 18th. It's
right in the middle of camp.
It's coming. It's coming quick.
Job.
But
Right in the middle of job.
So as we come up on overtime here, I want to give you a piece of Carm's soccer mind. And the U.S. and Belgium tonight, 7 o'clock. I'll be watching. It's going to be fun.
You might as well just hit the overtime screen just so the other people don't have to be subjected to whatever he's about to say.
Well,
30 seconds.
There's a whole controversy about Flo Balakin and his ability to play tonight. And I just want to underline to you, there's 4 parties in here, and everyone looks terrible. The first party is the ref who gave him the red card. What's his name? Let me put my glasses on so I have it right. Raphael Claus. Didn't initially sign the card. Watch the slow motion review.
Raphael became a diehard once upon a time, and you can too if you go to allchgo.com/diehard. Use that code Jahns just the way Raphael did.
There you go. The ref, terrible call. You look awful. You've been overturned. The next person who looks bad, the President of the United States. By the way, it could be any president, anywhere. Calling up FIFA. By the way, this just happens all across FIFA, apparently. The politicians want to get involved. You're a politician. You got more important things to do. Don't be calling FIFA. Leave FIFA alone. I don't think that looks good. I think that looks lame for us. That's a bad look. FIFA. You look terrible. People call you up. You just change on the dime. Oh, red card. No, let's put probationary period. No problem. We're FIFA. Nothing that happens on the field matters. Let's just change on a dime. Flo Balakin, go out and play. FIFA, you look ridiculous. But the worst of all 4 parties, by far, is sad-ass Belgium. Belgium, you're pathetic, and you deserve to lose. You shouldn't even walk on the pitch tonight.
Your waffles suck.
Your waffles are great, but you're complaining.
I feel like we should do a USA chant right now.
You're complaining that Flo Balakin is playing. No, you gave red card. He shouldn't play. Hey. This is competition. You want to beat the best. You don't whine when a good player is out there. It wasn't a red card against you. Now you just have to play the U.S.'s best. You know what you do? Bring it on, Flo Balakin, whoever else you got. We're Belgium. We're going to kick their ass. But that's not what you're doing. You're appealing to FIFA to get the red card reinstated? Belgium, pathetic. Still eat your waffles. But all 4 parties, in my mind, look horrible. Enjoy the match tonight.
Feel better?
I do. It's just pathetic.
Good. Well, you know what? I'm excited for the game tonight.
It'll be fun. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited for it.
Do we have a watch party?
We'll be watching it all together at our houses with our families.
I actually got 2 baseball games, kids' baseball games tonight.
Yeah, it's Dad
Go
over
get them.
there.
Go get them.
All right.
Whatever that was.
That was Layla Burnfeld telling me to stop talking.
Oh, I saw that the other day when I was producing. I
King
meant
Size
to hit
Auto
it.
just reminded me.
I saw a button that said "Carm, stop talking." I meant to hit it.
Hit it again? You hit it again? No? So
Can't
fast.
even hear it.
Oh, she's 8. All right.
All right.
USA.
USA.
All
Let's
the
go.
way.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Last night's match was unbelievable. I know you guys watching.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, that was
I
fantastic.
totally jinxed it. When it
What
was
is it?
0-0, I was like, Mexico is way better. And then, like, 6 minutes later, England had scored twice.
It's the Wild and Willie game of the World Cup there. All right, show's over.
No After Dark tonight, Eric Beauchamp. And I did see somebody in the chat correctly, Scottish Bear, correctly predicted that the After Dark will be on Thursday night. I don't know if Scottish Bears is infiltrated our morning meetings, but yes, CHGO Bears After Dark will be on Thursday night. Adam Rank is going to be joining me, so look forward to that conversation. But, yeah, a couple more days of CHGO Bears, but no After Dark tonight. Enjoy the World Cup.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for Johnsy coming in. That was a great start to Carm 2.5 Weeks Part 2. Have a great rest of your day.
We all silly like the mayor.